If you were or are in a relationship with an avoidant partner, and you noticed that after a breakup or during periods of distance, they weren't much affected and just carried on with their life as if nothing happened, know this: that will never happen to you again after this video. I don't know where the idea came from that the person who hops from relationship to relationship is the smart one and lives a happy life. No, true intelligence and strength are being so self-sufficient and independent that an avoidant can never fully own you. Let there always be uncertainty in their mind about where you are, what you're doing, and how accessible you are. The point is to remain at the center of your own life. When you're not around, the avoidant should feel that distance and absence strongly. They should think about you, remember you, but also understand that you own your world, and even if they wanted to, they can't fully capture you. Now the question is, what can you do so that an avoidant partner feels the separation or distance so intensely that they become restless? Today in this video we'll look at the kinds of methods that drive an avoidant crazy and make them come running back to you. Focus on quality, not quantity in communication. When you're in a relationship with an avoidant partner, one of the most common mistakes is to flood them with constant messages or calls in the hope of feeling closer. Psychologically, however, this strategy backfires. For avoidants, too much contact feels like pressure. They interpret it as you invading their space, and in response they pull away even further. This is where the psychological principle known as the scarcity effect comes in. When something is available all the time, its perceived value drops. If you're always texting, always calling, and always present, your presence becomes ordinary and predictable in their mind. But when you reduce the quantity and focus instead on quality, every interaction begins to stand out. Each message or conversation feels meaningful rather than routine. For example, instead of sending 10 "what are you doing" texts throughout the day, imagine sending just one thoughtful note. "Something today reminded me of you, and it made me smile." That short, genuine message carries far more emotional weight. It lingers in their mind, triggering warmth and curiosity instead of irritation or boredom. The way avoidants feel in response to this shift is significant. Instead of feeling chased or suffocated, they begin to associate your communication with positivity, surprise, and value. Over time, this makes them look forward to hearing from you rather than dreading it. They realize that your presence isn't about filling silence, but about bringing something special into their day. The results: avoidants are more likely to initiate contact themselves. They start to feel that conversations with you are rewarding and unique. Instead of trying to escape from the pressure of constant communication, they feel drawn toward the rare and meaningful moments you create. This builds emotional investment in a natural and sustainable way. Keep your life full and busy. When you keep your life full and busy, you're sending a powerful psychological signal to an avoidant partner. Avoidants are naturally uncomfortable with too much closeness and tend to pull away when they feel someone is overly dependent on them. If your entire world revolves around them, they subconsciously feel trapped, and instead of appreciating your attention, they often distance themselves even more. But when you build a lifestyle that is rich with friendships, hobbies, personal goals, and social activities, you create what psychologists call self-sufficiency cues. These cues tell the avoidant partner that you are not relying on them for your entire sense of happiness or identity. From their perspective, this changes the power dynamic. Instead of seeing you as clingy or needy, they start to feel a natural curiosity and even respect. An avoidant person often struggles with intimacy because they fear losing their independence. But when they see that you already live independently, their fear reduces. They no longer feel like being with you will mean giving up their freedom. Instead, they begin to see you as someone exciting, someone whose life has energy and momentum. Psychologically, this creates what's known as intermittent reinforcement. Since you are not always available, they cannot predict exactly when you'll give them attention, and this uncertainty keeps them more engaged and invested. The results of this shift are profound. Instead of chasing them desperately, you allow them to feel the absence of your presence. They notice that while you are busy enjoying your life, they are thinking about you. That missing feeling makes them value the moments they do get with you more deeply. Over time, they may start initiating contact, showing more effort, and even fearing that if they don't invest in you, someone else might take their place. This flips the script entirely. Your independence makes them crave closeness. Give space, then reward closeness. One of the strongest psychological triggers for avoidant partners is the balance between space and closeness. By nature, avoidants fear being consumed by a relationship. When they sense someone constantly demanding attention, their nervous system interprets it as a threat to independence. They shut down, withdraw, or even create conflict to regain that distance. If you want to connect with them deeply, the key is not to chase but to respect their need for space, and then make closeness feel like a reward rather than a demand. Psychology calls this approach avoidance conflict. The more someone feels forced, the more they resist. But if you calmly step back and let them breathe, you lower their defenses. In that quiet space, they begin to notice your absence. What felt like pressure now turns into a subtle pull. They start to miss you. The moment they reach back out, you have an opportunity to reinforce the bond by making the interaction warm, positive, and memorable. For example, if they've gone silent for a couple of days, don't panic with a stream of text. Instead, wait calmly, then respond to their next message with light energy. Good to hear from you. I just tried that coffee spot we talked about. It was great. We should go together sometime. This shows that you're not upset by the space, but you also bring closeness in a rewarding way. The result is powerful. The avoidant begins to link distance with missing you, and reconnection with positivity. Over time, this cycle reconditions their emotional system. Instead of dreading closeness as suffocating, they start to crave it because every return feels safe, exciting, and rewarding. This gradual rewiring makes them invest more energy into the relationship, often without even realizing it. Share small, safe vulnerability. Avoidant partners often struggle with vulnerability because deep down, intimacy triggers their fear of rejection or loss of independence. If you suddenly overwhelm them with deep emotional confessions, their defenses go up. They may withdraw, dismiss your feelings, or shut down completely. But when you share vulnerability in small, safe doses, it can slowly melt those defenses and invite them to trust you without feeling pressured. Psychologists describe this as the foot in the door effect. When people are exposed to small requests or manageable disclosures first, they are more likely to accept deeper levels later. The same applies to emotional intimacy. By showing just a glimpse of your inner world, not everything at once, you create a safe environment where the avoidant feels they can reciprocate. For example, instead of saying, "I feel like I can't live without you," which can scare them, you might say, "I really appreciated when you checked in yesterday. It made me feel cared for." This statement is vulnerable but not overwhelming. It communicates your feelings while showing balance and control. Over time, these small disclosures accumulate and build emotional depth in the relationship. The way avoidants feel in response is important. They don't perceive you as needy or emotionally flooding them. Instead, they sense authenticity and balance. This shifts their mental model of intimacy from being something threatening to being something rewarding. The result is gradual but profound. They begin to mirror your vulnerability in subtle ways, sharing a story from their past, opening up about stress at work or expressing appreciation. Each small step strengthens trust and builds a pattern where closeness feels safe. In time, vulnerability stops being something they avoid and becomes something they actively seek with you. The paradox of emotional connection lies in how we simultaneously seek and resist intimacy. Like moths drawn to flame, we dance between the desire for closeness and the instinct for self-preservation, creating a complex pattern of approach and retreat that defines our relationships. Create positive shared experiences. Avoidant partners often distance themselves when a relationship feels heavy, full of conflict, or emotionally overwhelming. Their nervous system is wired to equate closeness with potential loss of freedom, but there's a powerful psychological way to bypass this resistance by creating positive shared experiences. When time together consistently feels enjoyable and uplifting, the avoidant brain begins to associate intimacy not with pressure but with pleasure and safety. Psychologists refer to this as classical conditioning, the process of linking one experience with another. If every time you're together, they feel stress or drama, their mind connects you with discomfort. But if every time you spend time together, they laugh, relax, or discover something new, their mind connects you with positive emotions. Over time, this builds a powerful attachment without forcing closeness. For example, instead of pushing for long, serious conversations about the relationship, invite them to share light activities, a coffee date at a new cafe, watching a comedy show, hiking a trail, or even cooking a fun meal together. These moments create what psychologists call micro-bonds, small but meaningful memories that accumulate and strengthen emotional connection. The avoidant partner feels this difference on a subconscious level. They no longer see you as the person who demands too much from them, but as the person who brings lightness and joy into their life. This shift reduces their instinct to pull away. Instead, they begin to look forward to your presence because it adds value and excitement to their day. The results are profound. Positive shared experiences gradually rewire their emotional patterns. Closeness starts to feel like freedom instead of restriction, and they naturally want more of it. Over time, this makes the avoidant partner less defensive, more open, and surprisingly eager to deepen the bond. When it comes to dealing with an avoidant partner, the real secret is not about changing who they are, but about changing how you show up in the relationship. Many people waste energy chasing, over-explaining, or fighting for closeness, and the result is always the same: more distance. But when you step back, focus on your own growth, and create an environment where connection feels natural, you shift the entire dynamic. Think about it this way: avoidants are not bad people. Their patterns usually come from past experiences, fear of vulnerability, or a need to protect their independence. You can't force them to love differently, but you can become the kind of partner who inspires closeness instead of demanding it. That begins with self-respect. When you carry yourself as someone who values their own time, energy, and emotions, you send a clear message: being with you is a privilege, not a duty. The audience takeaway here is simple: focus less on making them afraid to lose you, and more on becoming someone they genuinely don't want to lose. That shift is where real power lies. Build your independence, maintain your boundaries, and fill your life with joy. At the same time, when you do connect, make the moments light, memorable, and authentic. The result isn't just that the avoidant partner responds differently, you feel different too. You stop waiting for approval or chasing affection. Instead, you attract it naturally because of the energy you project. So if you're serious about improving your relationships, start with yourself today. Ask, what can I add to my life that makes me more fulfilled, more confident, and more magnetic? The answers you find will not only draw your avoidant partner closer, they'll transform the way you experience every relationship in your future. The paradox of emotional connection lies in how we simultaneously seek and resist intimacy. Like moths drawn to flame, we dance between the desire for closeness and the instinct for self-preservation, creating a complex pattern of approach and retreat that defines our relationships.